Piper down, cooking show. Piper down, Piper down, Piper down, Piper down. Welcome to the cooking show. Cooking show, cooking show, cooking show, cooking show, cooking show, cooking show. Welcome to Piper down, cooking show. Piper down, Piper down, Piper down. Welcome to the cooking show. Cooking show, 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 cooking show. Welcome to Piper John Cooking Show. Go, go, Piper John, Piper John, Piper John, Piper John. Welcome to the cooking show. Cooking show, cooking show, cooking show, go, go, cooking show, cooking show. Welcome to Piper John Cooking Show. Cooking show, cooking show, cooking show, cooking show, cooking show. Welcome to Piper John Cooking Show. Go, go, Piper John, Piper John, Piper John, Piper John. Welcome to the cooking show. Cooking show, cooking show, cooking show, go, go, cooking show, cooking show. Welcome to Piper John Cooking Show. Cooking show, cooking show, cooking show, cooking show, cooking show. Piper John, Piper John, Piper John, Piper John. Welcome to the cooking show. Cooking show, cooking show, cooking show, cooking show, cooking show, cooking show. Welcome to Piper John Cooking Show. Piper John, Piper John, Piper John. Welcome to the cooking show. Cooking show, 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 cooking show. Welcome to Piper John Cooking Show. Go, go, Piper John, Piper John, Piper John, Piper John. Welcome to the cooking show.
Hi, welcome to Piper and John's Cooking Show. We met in cooking school. It was a boy meets girl.
I'm Piper, the head chef.
I'm John, the sous chef.
Hey John, did you become a chef after law school? Because a lawyer turned chef is a sous chef. On this episode, we'll be cooking chocolate angel food cake.
Yes, we will. A good baker always rises to the occasion. It's the yeast he can do. With us today, joining us from Los Angeles, California, is our favorite food scientist, Dr. Gray and Dr. Shepard. We'll be providing commentary for us on the chemistry of our cake.
Hello!
Hi. Ingredients we will be needing are 1 3/4 cup of granulated sugar and 1 cup of cake flour.
And 2 teaspoons of espresso, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a half cup of boiling water, which is on the stove, a tablespoon of orange zest, and 15 large egg whites.
For dry ingredients, we're using metal measuring cups, and for wet ingredients, we're using glass, so the measurements are visible.
Now let's get started. First, we will adjust the oven rack to the lower middle position and preheat the oven to 350.
We need to preheat the oven to a high temperature to produce a higher kinetic energy level in the oven. This is important for the transferring of kinetic energy to the batter, so the cake can be baked.
Now we'll sift the cocoa, sugar, and flour into a medium bowl and set aside.
Sugar not only plays a taste factor when baking cakes, but sugars and fats also help slow the cake from hardening. When a cake begins to go stale, the starch starts to go stale as well. Sugar will draw the water and prevent the starch molecules from forming and crystallizing.
Additionally, it is imperative that we separate the dry and wet ingredients, because mixing them too soon will cause the wet and dry ingredients to become the incorrect consistency for cooking.
Place the remaining cocoa powder, espresso, salt, and salt into a large bowl. Stir in the boiling water and orange zest until smooth.
Salt in this mixture will be added to whipped egg whites when they are folded in. The salt will better be able to hold their volume for the mixture because the salt absorbs the water. Although salt is not considered to be an aid in leavening, it contributes slightly to the volume of the cake.
In a standing mixer filled with a whip attachment, beat egg whites on medium speed until frothy. Add cream of tartar and continue to beat until whites are beginning to turn opaque. About 1 minute. You might get a little exhausted. Increase speed to medium-high and slowly add remaining cup sugar. Continue to beat until meringue forms stiff but not dry peak.
Look at this nice meringue.
It looks totally opaque.
Totally. And fluffy.
The recipe needs a hand mixer to introduce air to the mixture and make it fluffier. An electric hand mixer would make it easier because the physical repeated motion of a manual hand mixer is tiring.
The cream of tartar stabilizes the egg whites and works as a leavening agent, which is substance in doughs and batters that causes them to rise, ensuring that the cake's texture is properly springy. Cream of tartar, again, potassium bitrate, is also used for stabilizing whipped cream as well as preventing sugar from crystallizing too quickly. The cream of tartar and stiff egg white combination will make the cake incredibly light.
The egg whites need to be whipped until little peaks are being created. This change in viscosity needs to create a light, fluffy, and airy substance for the cake.
When we whip the egg whites from a liquid to this foamy substance, it's undergoing a phase change by becoming a colloid, or a substance suspended in a state of a liquid and gas. This is important, again, for an airy and springy nature of the cake. Egg whites also serve as an emulsifying agent for the cocoa powder and water. Cocoa powder is composed of lipid molecules, which are nonpolar, and water is composed of polar molecules. In order for the cocoa powder to dissolve into the water against the like dissolves like principle, it needs an emulsifying agent, or a substance that will allow emulsion or a mixture of two or more liquids that are normally immiscible to take place. The emulsifying agent is the egg whites.
Whisk about 1 cup meringue into cocoa and water mixture to lighten. In 3 stages, gently fold in remaining whites. Sift 1/3 flour mixture onto meringue and gently fold in. In 2 additions, sift and fold remaining flour mixture into batter and combine. Taking cake. No, I meant taking care not to deflate egg whites.
Flour is extremely important in making the cake because the wheat proteins in the flour will trap the air bubbles in the batter to create a springy, spongy cake. When the flour meets the boiling water, it will provide gluten, a protein that gives the cake a structure.
Gently spoon batter into pan.
A rubber spatula is needed to transport the cake batter from the bowl to the pan. It will scrape all of the contents off of the container completely to ensure that all of the cake can be baked. A rubber spatula has silicone in it, which has properties of a plastic malleable material, so it takes the shape of the batter.
Make sure you are using a bundt cake pan because this type of pan allows for the mixture to completely touch the surface of the pan as opposed to a simple round pan, helping to provide faster and more even heat distribution during cooking.
As you bake a cake, you are producing an endothermic chemical reaction that changes the ooey gooey batter into a fluffy, delicious treat.
In the convection oven, hot air molecules are flying around at a fast rate, and when they collide with the batter's molecules, it will heat the batter, allowing it to expand and rise to create a nice spongy cake.
To sum up, as the temperature of the batter increases from the convection heat transfer, the volume of the cake will increase as well, demonstrating the ideal gas law.
Bake until cake is puffed. Just set and insert a toothpick into the center, ensuring it comes out clean. This will take about 40 minutes. Set the pan on a wire rack for 5 minutes. Then invert the pan onto the wire rack so that the cake can completely cool down in a pan upside down. This will take about 4 hours.
We need to invert the pan so the cake can easily come out of it without hassle when it is finally cooled.
When cooling the cake, the heat energy from the cake will leave it and go into its surroundings, so the cake can have a chance to finish baking from within and acclimate itself to room temperature.
After 4 hours, run knife alongside of the pan and invert the cake onto serving plate to serve. Serve with orange slices. It should taste real knife.
Use a serrated knife to cut the cake, as it is too fluffy to be cut with a sharp knife. Otherwise, it could easily lose its spongy shape.
The end product has browning on the outer exterior because of the Maillard reaction. So the amino acids, which are made out of proteins, are present in the form of eggs and flour and have reacted with the granulated sugar in the recipe. The byproduct of this reaction in this recipe takes the form of furanones and pyrazines.
Cakes for 3, go.